Jungle.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Aaron Gomez and Keanu for another week of Mashup Movie Talk. So, finally, another week. And this past weekend, actually, me and Keanu saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Before we're going to talk about that in the end, but Keanu, a little taste of what your thoughts on the movie?
Yo, it got some parts where I was like, dang, all right.
All I got to say is cinematography.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, before we
Yes.
even review it. But, so there's a lot of things that happened this week. Well, this week in movie news, as I was doing research, a lot of it was talking about Endgame and, like, post-production and, like, behind-the-scenes stuff. So I actually want to, like, I had to nitpick some stuff on, like, what we want to talk about this week. But there's been a lot of rumors, and I do want to address this now because I only talk about rumors if there's really, like, a validity to it. But, like, at least I'll bring it up in this episode so you guys can make your own thoughts about it. And I would love to hear Keanu's thoughts because I know we haven't talked about it yet. But I mean, to start off this episode, we're going to go to DC. So Batgirl is apparently still happening, and it's under Warner Bros.' radar. So apparently it seems that the studio is expecting big hits from Wonder Woman 1984 and Birds of Prey. So they really do see a bright future for female-led superhero movies, and Batgirl is one of them. But let's remember that Joss Whedon, who was originally tied to it, did leave the project because he couldn't really get a take for it. And, you know, coming off the success of Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, we always talk about DC because it's like they're a mess. But what are your thoughts on, like, hearing Batgirl actually happening?
The moment I opened the notes and I saw that as the first thing. First thing I said, is it though? Are they? That was my exact reaction. I thought of the Thor Ragnarok meme where he's got the scrunched up face. He kind of looks like
he's like, is it?
yeah, that one. And then Game of Thrones, Khaleesi, when her face is like it goes match hand in hand with the Thor meme. I thought
Absolutely.
those two. I was just like, are they? Are they really? Because all of these films, I mean, they announced a whole slate of films that went nowhere. I mean, this was like what was it? Now, what is it now? Like 4 years ago? Maybe even more. They announced all these films, and the only ones that really came about were Aquaman and Wonder Woman. I mean, that really is what the only thing that came through. And I guess I can't remember if Birds of Prey was a part of that initial release. I don't think it was though. I think it was only after Suicide Squad that they were like, oh, let's just throw Harley Quinn out there and do more with it. But I mean, I like Batgirl. I mean, it's a cool idea. Like I said, I don't know that I necessarily believe that's going to happen, but I don't have any issues with it happening either. I mean, you know, Batman is such a strong character for DC sales wise. I mean, there's a reason why every DC animated movie in the last like 5 years has Batman in it. Like the whole DC new universe is for the animated films is like every other film is Batman film. So. I mean, it's a cool premise. I'm cool with them making the film. I'd rather be Batgirl than like Batgirl and Harley Quinn. Like, it's like at this point which is a damn possibility.
Oh hell yeah, absolutely.
Although, you know, it begs the question of like, why are you going to do a single Batgirl and then a single Birds of Prey that has Harley Quinn shoehorned in instead of just doing Birds of Prey with Batgirl? You know, like it with the premise actually being there, it is a little strange, but. I mean, I'm not going to put too much thought into it because, well, I mean, it's on their radar, but like every other DC movie is on their radar or was on their radar at one point. So, yeah, that's my tea.
Yeah, well, there is the tea from Keanu. But, like, I do remember when they first announced the lineup for DC, like the slate with Cyborg and all that stuff. And, like,
I know, they were so overzealous on announcing a Cyborg movie.
It was probably, like, definitely 4 years ago. Because let's rewind. So WB behind the scenes, a lot of people don't know, it's like they had a lot of change in power, and they just recently got a new president that's like, it's a female and I forget her name, but she's like now like ahead of like WB and running things differently. And it's like, it's weird because if we're gonna have a Batgirl movie and we haven't even established Matt Reeves as Batman, and Matt Reeves even hinted that it possibly might be its own thing. So it's like, it's going to confuse a lot of watchers. Like, is this a universe? Is it not? And it's funny because they brought up Nightwing Remember Nightwing was supposed to be a project, and now like we don't know if that's going to happen. And
the guy in charge of Nightwing kept saying he was like gonna do it. Like he was in charge of the Lego Batman movie, and the Lego Batman movie was pretty successful. Okay, well, never mind. That doesn't sound too exciting. I looked up Nightwing movie, and it says October 24th and 25th. Nightwing movie update. Director says it might still get made, and then the other one is Nightwing movie is still alive, but we'll have to wait a while.
No,
so I guess it's in the same territory as all the other ones.
It's the thing. Like I don't trust DC actually, but like they did have good movies with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I can't lie, but those are just like they were good DC films compared to other DC films. You know what I mean? Like compared to an actual movie, it was like, all right, it's a good popcorn flick. But the fact that like I've complained and like about this all the time. Why are we expanding to these other characters and not paying homage to like the original crew, like the Green Lanterns?
Oh my gosh.
We didn't have a Man of Steel sequel yet, and Henry Cavill is probably tied up with Witcher. So it's like, I don't know. It's like I hate talking about this, but I feel like Warner Brothers is really getting political with this whole as much as I love female representation, but I feel like they're trying to like say screw everything else. Let's just do what what's what's in now, and like this is why like Harley Quinn is so hyped up like today, even though she's like a side character, and I feel like they're gonna try to like give more depth to the character, but like she's just a bad person. You know what I mean? Like she's Joker's like sidekick, and she's supposed to be a bad person. That's how she's written. I don't know. It just feels really PC, like what they're trying to do with the agenda, like their agenda, and I think it's laughable because remember they did when they released the slate, they actually had like a phase chart. Back in the day.
Justice League Phase 1, Justice League Phase... I mean, well, it was all part of a larger phase, but like Justice League... I meant to say Justice League Part 1, Justice League Part 2, and they canceled that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Justice League was Part 1 and 2. I do remember that. And it was both directed by Snyder, wasn't it? Like, supposed to be...
Yeah.
Well, let's see where that happens. But, like, I know you hate talking about it. I wrote in the notes like, after Batgirl, Snyder Cut. So... Before I explain myself, I left it blank because I wanted to keep it, a secret for you. So you don't roll your eyes,
Yeah.
It's just okay. I'll just read it. So DC fans have not forgotten about the Snyder Cut, and it doesn't appear they will forget for quite some time. The much debated cut of Justice League that would follow Snyder's original vision even got the spotlight at San Diego Comic-Con thanks to hashtag Project Comic-Con, which also raised money for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. Now it appears the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut community will do something similar at New York Comic-Con, and Bill Rollins has posted a GoFundMe to raise money to make it happen. Keanu, thoughts?
What is this? Right? What are we funding? We have so much. There's people in need, and I know that's like a cliche to say when like, oh my god, I don't want to eat. Like, I don't want to eat my dinner. Oh, they're starving children. Okay, but actually though, we're gonna fund. This is what we're gonna fund. This is where.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like we're in America. Like you can put your money wherever you want to put it. But seriously, this is where you decide to put it towards a GoFundMe to release this damn Snyder Cut. Like, come on, man. Like. First of all, like we already said, DC just released the damn thing. Like, it's nothing but free money. Just released it on DC Universe, and oh my gosh, all these people are going. It's mind-boggling to me. All these people are going through all this work for this, which is mind-boggling alone. But then on a business standpoint, it's like, okay, all these people are going through all this. If they're willing to do that, they'll probably be willing to sign up at least for a month of DC Universe. Just from releasing this exclusively on there, you'll get a nice bump. You don't even you don't you're worried about don't print it on DVD because you lose or Blu-ray because you lose some of the sales in the storefront and the physical cop. Just release it digital. Just release it exclusively digital. Make a whole thing out. Just release it. Just drop it. It's that simple. It's gonna cost you like no money. Just release it.
It's I hate bringing it up, but like the only reason I put it in there was because first off, it's just. They're using, I mean, it's going for a good cause, but it's like, lay it to rest. We talked about it. Even like Zack Snyder freaked out about it, like in an interview saying like, oh, like I had, what he freaked out about was Batman being rated R. So like, I mean, or killing people. So that's why like there's so much controversy. And then he drops like Darkseid being in this, like, oh, like he's in the opening fighting scene. Like, I honestly don't think it's going to be good either way, if it's a Snyder cut or it's not, because I just feel like Snyder's more of a visual director more than anything. And as much as I love 300 and like those properties, the like his track record's like,
I mean, it's just 300.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like 300
it's
and
just
Watchmen.
300.
Like that's it. Like that's
And
it.
did he direct the second 300? I don't think.
No, I don't think it was him. No.
Yeah, so it's like ripping the bandage off, like, you know, over like a
Repeatedly.
wound. Yeah, and it's just like, it's funny because like this is gonna happen at New York Comic Con, which is, it's like, I'm happy it's happening because it's for altruistic reasons, like they're actually, you know, towards suicide prevention.
Yeah.
But it's like, DC, think of your, like, let's move on. Let's think of your future, because like we said with Batgirl, like we don't even know what's like after that, and it's like we even talked about it before, like Daisy Ridley, is she going to be Batgirl? Like there's been a lot of speculation about this whole thing, and the only trust I have in DC is DC Universe Online on Switch, because I just started playing it, and that's the only thing I got trust in for DC. But like, let's go back to the, you know, most important thing that we love to talk about is Marvel. And apparently Jeff Loeb, who's the head of Marvel TV, and he's working with Hulu, because, you know, Disney's going to have that tie with Disney Plus and Hulu. Marvel TV apparently is like a separate thing. Like, so the properties on Hulu are going to be different compared to the Disney Plus quote unquote shows, like, you know, Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier. So what I want to talk about this week is that Hulu, Jeff Loeb said that the horror shows, quote unquote horror shows, which involves Hailstorm and Ghost Rider, are going to be in a category called Adventure into Fear. Hey. And Jeff Loeb, this is what he told Deadline, that there were like 3 or 4 properties they were talking about, and obviously 2 of those properties was Hailstorm and Ghost Rider. So obviously we're going to get more titles with the mystical arts and, you know, the paranormal, which is really cool. And the thing I got from this article is that I didn't even know this was going to happen. Like, other Hulu properties or shows that are coming from Marvel is Hitmonkey, Tigra, and Dazzler, and MODOK, which I was very surprised.
Offenders.
Yeah, the Offenders. But like, I'm surprised by MODOK, because Patton Oswalt was on a night show and he admitted that they're doing a MODOK show, but it's animation. So
I was gonna say,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, so, like, what are your thoughts on that? Because, like, I thought, you know, let's say... Okay, I'm going to assume that they're going to reboot the Defenders, a.k.a. Daredevil and all of them, and maybe, you know, push the mature content into Hulu. But, like, hearing this news, and, like, with Jeff Loeb, who's in charge of Marvel TV, like, ABC before, what are your thoughts on, like, this happening? And, like, do you think... You know, are we still going to get a Daredevil under Jeff Loeb, or is it going to be under Feige?
I mean, I wish it was under. I mean, I want him under Feige. Like Hitmonkey, Tigra, you know, Dazzler, MODOK. I'm fine with those being, you know, Jeff Loeb's territory. But you know, for something like the Defenders and something for Adventures into Fear, for the, you know, dark side of the universe, I want those to be like high budget, coherent, and, you know, involved with the mythology and stuff. And so. But it's also tough because it's never going to get too dark with the MCU. So it's kind of like, all right, so we're relegated to the Marvel television because it seems like they're actually more willing to get dark than the MCU. But then at the same time, you want the big budget, you want the continuity of the MCU. So, like I said, Hitmonkey, Tiger, Dazzler, MODOK, the animated shows, those are fun. Those are cool those are cool to live at Hulu. Like stuff like Cloak and Dagger, that's cool with Freeform. Like those are 2 characters that like I'm never gonna like be the Runaways. Like I'm cool with them being in like a part, like all the Marvel TV shows, all the stuff under Jeff Loeb's stuff, under Jeff Loeb's control is like somewhat in the MCU, but it's like the redheaded stepchild, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And so, and I'm fine with that for those type of shows. I'm fine with that for Cloak and Dazzler, for Cloak and Dagger, I mean, and Runaways, like I said, and but I really, you know, I would love for Daredevil. I would love for the Defenders to be a part of the MCU. And I would love for Adventures into Fear to be MCU. And whether, you know, Well, we'll have to see because I see the Disney Plus shows, and I immediately know quality. Like I'm like, all right,
Hmm.
this has got the movie actors, it's got the cast, um, it's got the movie actors slash cast, it has the budget, it has the Kevin Feige in charge. Like it's good. And the Marvel TV shows, it's like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess like it's not necessarily guaranteed, but it can still be cool. And this is coming from somebody who loves Shield,
Hmm.
Agents of Shield. But like I said, it's a tough call because on one note, I don't even know that we would get a horror series to MCU. You know what I'm saying? If we do, it's gonna be Blade, and that's years away. So
Hmm.
it's on one hand, it's like I want this content, but on the other hand, it's I haven't really seen Runaways, I haven't really seen Cloak and
Me
Dagger.
neither.
But I'm hoping that because it's on. I mean, then again, Runaways is on Hulu, but I'm hoping this. I'm hoping they're doing their best to tie it into the MCU in their own way. And I'm hoping it has the budget, especially Ghost Rider. Like, his head is on fire. That's CGI and a half. Like, I don't want the show to be like, oh, our CGI is kind of low, so it's gonna be like the first Godzilla, where like, oh, the real monster is like seeing him every once in a while, like the tension. Like, no, I want to see Ghost Rider's head on fire like 24/7. And they were pretty good about it in Agents of Shield, but they also were really upfront about it, and they were like, yeah, this costs like all our budget. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. Um, I'm hoping it's got the budget and it's got the continuity, but we'll see.
Yeah, to put it into perspective, so Feige and Jeff Loeb have a weird relationship.
Well,
Um,
it's mainly Feige and
Paul
Paul,
something.
yeah,
Paul,
Paul
yeah, Paul
Mentor,
Mutter. Paul
yeah,
Mutter.
yeah.
Yeah, Paul
They like
Mutter.
hate they like can't
They
stand each
hate
other.
each other. Yeah, they
Yeah.
hate each other because Paul Mutter is just. So if you guys don't understand, like Feige's obviously tied to the MCU movie properties. Paul Mutter was the head of Marvel TV, and it was kind of
And
just
well,
like
entertainment as a whole.
yeah,
He's in charge
entertainment.
of Marvel, like the comic book company,
Yeah.
and the comic book company also has control of the television. And the comic book
Hmm.
company used to have control of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what ended up happening was, I'm sorry, I took over from you.
No, 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 dude, you got it. Take it
So
away.
what ended up happening was, right around a little bit after the time Disney bought Marvel as a whole, what people were saying was like with Thor: Dark World, with Avengers: Age of Ultron, what was happening was these directors wanted to do more with their films, and Ike Peralta, or whatever his name is, who's in charge of Marvel Entertainment, and at the time, as all of Marvel, so included the movies, at the time they said he was extremely down their throats and he was extremely hands-on, and Feige wanted to have like a grand plan, but still let the directors have fun, and it just was creating a big conflict. It was creating a big rift, and it seemed like Feige and Peralta were like really going butting heads. So what Disney did was after they bought Marvel as a whole, they were like, you know what? Feige knows what the hell he's doing. We're gonna let him have complete control of the MCU and remove it from the comics. So Marvel Comics and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, believe it or not, are actually not related now at this point. They're not connected really in any way. And so what that did was it made Feige completely in the same footing, or if not, well, higher above, whatever his name is. And so that created that kind of rift, and so now Marvel Studios, which is Marvel Television Studios, is still a part of the Marvel Comics as a whole, and so Jeff Loeb is in charge of the shows, and he's directed by the president of Marvel, the guy we just said,
Hmm.
Pomada or whatever, and and that created that kind of divide, and that created Feige not really being a part of that, and I think that also plays a role in there being that division, and like, oh, is this a part of the MCU? It's kind of is, kind of isn't.
Yeah, no, just to build off that, but like now that they're working together, like apparently reports are like they're cool, they're all right. They're like they'll work together. But yet again, just to refer to these Hulu properties, Loeb was asked, "Why didn't you go to ABC?" And he responded that they want to make this content more mature. So ABC, without their limitations, especially that it's if you're having like Demons and Ghost Rider at primetime TV with like Grey's Anatomy on ABC, it wouldn't really work as well. So if we had to be like talking retrospect, Hulu has like it has dark shows. So like tales like The Path and Handmaid's Tale and The Act, they're all dark shows. So this was like the perfect landing for them to decide, let's not go ABC, let's go to Hulu. But it's kind of weird because remember last week we mentioned that ABC wants to plan their own female superhero TV show. So it kind of sucks that like even though the MCU Marvel bought like X-Men and Fantastic Four back in Deadpool, it's still disbanded and categorized. Like there's still different there's the Marvel property and is still segregated in different sections. So it's kind of a lot of people don't know that, but like us, us nerds that are like reading up on it, like we'll catch on to it, but like the typical fan doesn't know that. We'll see how it goes, because when you did say you hear Disney, money, like straight off.
Right, they're putting their money into it to make sure they get their money back.
Yeah, so I mean, I even questioned him like, what's the quality of this? And you reassured me like, nah, this is gonna be like an 8-hour movie, depending on how long the episodes are. So I'm excited for that. Like, if we're going to continue off that, Deadpool being PG-13 or R is still a huge topic. So this is coming from Brett Lang, who's from Variety, and he had a tweet saying this. Iger notes X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four are now under Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige's control. Hear from sources that there are debates about whether Deadpool can move seamlessly between R-rated solo outings and PG-13 rated MCU movies. So this is an old quote from Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld. He pretty much just said, you guys are asking about Deadpool's future on film all the time, and while Bob Iger's really a nice guy, seriously, he's the nicest man, I'm not invited to the boardroom for all the obvious reasons. However, I believe Deadpool's future is bright. If I had to predict, venture a guess, just a guess, Deadpool will appear in PG-13 Marvel films on a limited basis, interacting with Marvel pals while retaining his own R-rated film franchise releases under the Fox banner. The quote continues, those shenanigans with Vanessa can't be released under the Disney Castle banner, we will find out soon enough. So that's good to hear, because I would honestly, personally, I would love for them to weave Deadpool in, especially with Spider-Man. That'd be great. Like just for 2 seconds, like a short cameo. That's it. I don't want him to be a critical role. Let's make it a joke. Let's break the fourth wall. And he's like, damn, did Disney buy Fox for like something $1 billion? Like if he commentated on that, that'd be hilarious, and that'd be just enough, like the perfect amount of Deadpool, while releasing his movies under the Fox banner, which I didn't consider. Keanu, your thoughts?
I'm actually split. Like I think it's a genius idea, but at the same time, I think I'm in the minority in this, but I'm fine with them just getting a PG-13 movie. Like, first of all, I didn't expect that. Like, I only expect like a trilogy from each character. Like, I never expect a Wolverine type situation where they're like, a decade in the character. I only expect like a trilogy. So like, if they want to, first of all, keep Ryan Reynolds. If you're not going to keep Ryan Reynolds, then don't make a Deadpool movie. Like, I don't really, and I'm not like, I don't know. There's just he's so intrinsically tied, and I could see someone else playing it, but there's just no use. There's no like, I don't care about someone else playing it. Make it Ryan Reynolds. And me personally, I'm fine with him just getting a movie in the MCU that's PG-13. That's like the slice, as long like we saw Scary Stories, they can really push that when they want, So
yeah, exactly.
I'm not the type, like I don't think Deadpool needs to curse. Like I think he can be funny by trying to not curse. Like it could be like nope, this is Marvel, this is Disney. Like I'd be fine with that. Mm-hmm. And then of course that leaves the blood and the gore. And I mean honestly, like I'm fine with him slicing and dicing and it just being like not a lot of blood, or no blood. Like I'm fine. I'm just fine with it. I don't know, but at the same time, I also think it would be pretty genius to integrate him in other films in the MCU and keep it PG-13 and then have his own under Fox. I mean, that does make sense. And I'm cool either way, man. I just want to see him interact. I just want to see him interact with all of these characters in the MCU. Like it's a gold mine of potential. Like I am Groot, Groot being like I am Groot, and he's like, does this guy have a mute button or something? I don't know, that sort of thing. Yeah, no, I see, like you say, you're in the minority, but I'm not like your opinion. I'm not against it because there were reports. I didn't see the PG-13 Deadpool, but I heard
a lot of quotes are saying, like, people are quoting like, "Oh, it could work with PG-13," and I can believe it because, like, scary stories to tell in the dark. Like, we're even referencing to it now. They can push PG-13. Like, I'm thinking of Ultimate Alliance 3. So on Switch, the game, like, Deadpool's still a jokester. He talks about tacos and burritos and shit like that, but like, he's still comedic. He doesn't have to say the F bomb. It can work. But I would love to see him banter with Wolverine when he does come, and especially Spider-Man. And like, I don't need a whole scene for Deadpool. I just need like a cameo and an end credit scene. That's the most I ask for. Like, besides Deadpool, like, other properties, this is great. So John Boone's upcoming X-Men spinoff, The New Mutants. So this is from Variety. So The New Mutants pretty much is a horror take on X-Men, and it's been delayed, let's say 3 or 4 times. Yeah, we'll go with 15. That sounds about right. So Disney saw the property, even though it's going through a lot of reshoots. Disney's been exposed to the property, obviously, because it's under their schedule now, and they're largely unimpressed by the film, and they quote unquote say it has limited box office potential. So right now it's currently set for an April 2020 theatrical release, and they still need to go through reshoots. I don't know, like,
just release it on Hulu.
Yeah,
just release it on Hulu at this point.
This is what everyone's demanding. Like, release it on Hulu. It's your safest bet. That's why, like, we're having these small properties like on Netflix. Like, they don't release it in theaters because they don't think it would have the wide audience appeal. So why not be the safest bet and do Hulu? Like, an example of that is like Mowgli by Andy Serkis, who directed it.
Right.
He didn't want to, he didn't want to release it at the time because Jungle Book was very fresh on people's minds. So the safest bet is Hulu. Do you want to add anything to New Mutants besides that? It sucks because they said they're largely unimpressed. According to
I mean, I'm disappointed in that. I thought it looked interesting. Like, I want to see it. I think the only thing, not the only thing, but the only thing I'm gonna miss with Marvel owning every character is, of course, that we're not gonna get as many flavors of the rainbow. Like, they love to mix genres, but they don't go too much into the scary. Even when they say it with Doctor Strange, like, they don't go too much with the scary. They don't go too much with the rated R. And so New Mutants was kind of like this last chance to really see something super, super different when it comes to Marvel characters. And I thought it had potential. I thought it looked interesting, and it's a shame that they're saying but at the same time, I think it also has limited box office potential because it's a niche genre. Like superhero horror. Like, horror is great, superheroes are great, but superhero horror is a niche genre. And at the same time, I think they also think it has limited it has limited box office potential because they lost so much money on Dark Phoenix that they think people are so over Fox X-Men in general. So like, those two factors combined,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, it's funny because Disney's on fire, and we talked about this. They've already made $7 billion off of like a couple properties. So like, there's so I'm on comicbook.com, and like, they get a list off of like, that was it, my computer's acting real slow. So the biggest box office winners of 2019 so far. So let's go down the list. This is the top 10. We got Avengers Endgame, number 1. Sorry, guys, I just killed the suspense for number 1. Lion King's number 2. We will touch on Lion King later. My computer's acting slow. Hold on, folks. I will edit this out.
Hang on in there.
Yeah. Okay, number 3, Captain Marvel. Number 4, Spider-Man Far From Home. So let's keep track, because this is all Disney properties. when including Marvel. Number 5, Aladdin, which is possibly getting a sequel. Number 6, Toy Story 4, another Disney property.
These are all been Disney so far, right?
Number 7, we're breaking it. It's an Asian film, Lu Lang Di Kui. It's a Chinese film, but it's pretty much saying how big the Chinese market is. So
yeah.
This is why like we're having like 50 Transformer movies, because the Chinese market is that big. So international box office, people, is a big deal compared, to just not just like domestic. You shouldn't just only consider. Number 8. So this is DreamWorks, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Number 9 is another Asian property, I am gonna butcher the pronunciation. So Naze Z Motong. Okay, Jiangxi. So that's another Chinese box office hit. So yet again, another example why China is a force to like acknowledge. Number 10, last but not least, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. So
Hey, good for them.
out of all those properties, like Disney just dominated. Like
What was that? 7 out of 10?
dominating them.
Seven,
Yeah,
6 or 7 out
I'd
of
say
10?
like seven. I'd say 7 out of 10. So that's 7 billion smackers right there. Um,
Crazy.
so like, why break the trend? Like, if they really, I really do think it's gonna go to Hulu. I don't think Bob Iger is a fool. But even though it's slated for April 2020, I don't think anyone would care if they took it off the theatrical release. You know, it'd be a small
I don't think
minority. Yeah, nobody would care. I don't think.
Just release it now. Like, why put more money in it? Just release the film on Hulu.
Dude, just release it on Halloween. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Let's switch it
Exactly.
up. Like,
Yep.
let's funnel the audience into the fall season. Like, it's not that hard. But yeah, April 2020. Bob, if you're listening, and I know you are, please go ahead. Make the right move. So if we're gonna go off of Disney being the Illuminati, this is a rumor. So the next two bits are rumors, but they're like so fascinating. I just couldn't not bring it up. So according to a report, codenamed David, they're trying to cast Namor. That's what people are thinking. So the code name for it is David, and it's described as a ruler of an ancient, distant kingdom. It said that Marvel Studios is preferably looking for an actor who is Asian descent, and fans have been saying for years that they would like someone of that ethnicity to bring to the ruler of Atlantis to the big screen. Apparently, the movie Marvel Studios wants this character to appear in the pre-production stage, so whoever it is will more than likely appear in Phase 4, either in Eternals or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, there's been rumors that Namor is going to be in Black Panther 2. So, Namor does look Asian. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it's kind of like premature for Namor to come now, because I think Phase 4 is for like the new generation, where I get like why people think it's kind of underwhelming and not really hyped for Phase 4, but like it's kind of building off like the
It's
no
like
name.
it's phase 1.2, phase 1 redo. Like, it's
Yeah, it is that. But like, let's remember that this is important to remember. Phase 4 is only 2 years. So once you look at the lineup, even though it's kind of overwhelming, like how many properties are coming out, half of those are in Disney Plus, and like we're really not getting that many movies for the movie slate per se. But if I had to put my money on it, Doctor Strange would probably be it. But I do think, yet again, this is a rumor. Let's take it with a grain of salt. But it's interesting to talk about, because remember in Avengers Endgame, Black Widow was talking to Okoye, and she was like, she was telling Okoye there was a tremor in the ocean, and Okoye just kind of like breezed over it, saying it's nothing, it's just an earthquake in the ocean. So, and then, I mean, Keanu, what are your thoughts of possibly Namor being casted and possibly being Asian? Because Daniel Day Kim was a hot one.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually like, I would love for like I've seen him fan cast, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Like, I would love for him to play him, and if not, I mean, hey, they could get Spanish actor, just saying, he could be, they can make it work.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm cool with him being Asian. Like, I mean, he's whatever, he's Atlantean or whatever. That's not even a real race, so like you can't get mad at him being anything, but anything that's like anything. It's a fake race, so it is what it is.
Yeah,
and he looks tan in most of his appearances. And then at the same time, I think it'd be cool. I mean, it's cool to introduce him. I feel like people have talked about him being introduced for years. As a character, I actually find him pretty annoying. He's super cocky to the point where it's
cocky.
For me, it's kind of unlikable. It's kind of annoying, but I see his potential, and I'm fine with him appearing in one of those films or any of the other ones. I just feel like I feel like he's more of a matter of time than anything. I know at one point they were saying that his rights were kind of all over the place, but just like kind of like the Hawks, where like it has like one studio has his independent film rights, but they could probably just throw him in, just like the Hawk. They could probably just throw him into other movies and call it a day. So, and I don't know that I necessarily would want to watch a Namor movie anyway. So that's probably better that way.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and it'd be neat to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like Namor doesn't need his own film, and I remember I saw a chart on Pinterest, and they were talking about who's with what. Like so, like Hulk's with Universal, and Namor
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
with a Namor's with a random company,
Like a random ass, like
random
like some...
ass company. It's funny we both know that, but like it's just like yeah, it's with a random ass company, and it's been actually a rumor that Black Panther 2 would have him. Like people are begging for that. That'd be cool because they have a lot of conflict in the comic
Yeah, the
books.
two kingdoms, going at it and whatever.
Yeah, Namor's a dick, like especially
He's
with the Illuminati.
an ass, dude. He's such an ass.
But like, I would love to see Black Panther kick his ass. But if he's gonna be Asian, I'm like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like, we'll talk about that later. But if we're building off of Namor, there have been like serious Phase 5 and 6 rumors. Yeah, I repeat, Phase 5 and 6. But before we jump into it, Taika Waititi has turned in a completed script of Thor 4, aka Thor: Love and Thunder. This is according to Deadline, which is gonna have an early 2020 production start. But like in the meantime, Taika's going to be doing other work like The Next Goal Wins, which is a documentary about an American Samoa soccer team and their Dutch coach. So it's kind of like
that just feels random.
Yeah, it's so random. It's just like, but like in the meantime, I want to like let you guys know what he's doing. So if we dig into, remember this is a rumor, but it's so interesting. Like I do want to talk about it. So this is for Phase 5 and 6. So this was from two different people. So the first rumor. This is from Charles Murphy, so I'm just going to read it because I don't want to butcher it. So Charles Murphy, who recently posted the partial Marvel Phase 5 release schedule. Okay, so he posted Phase 5 on Twitter. So this could usually be written off as nonsense, but Charles Murphy has a pretty amazing track record. So he accurately revealed Marvel's entire Phase 4 announcement ahead of San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeet.
In addition to several other key pieces of MCU intel. So there's a reason to think why this guy actually has, serious info regarding to the releases. With that being said, he recently posted a new leak to Twitter that states the following. So this guy's pretty legit. Second guy is kind of iffy. So I remember this is a rumor. I don't like discussing rumors, but like I would just like to have it out there for us to discuss, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So the first thing he announced from Charles is that Black Panther 2 is coming in February 18, 2022. May 6, 2022 will be Guardians of the Galaxy 3. July 29, 2002 was listed and yet remains mysterious. The big one was at the end of his message or his tweet, and he said, which listed May 3rd or May 10, 2024 with a big shocked face emoji. So remember, this is Phase 5, so Phase 4 is up to 2022, so this is kind of when the Phase 5 comes in. Phase 5 comes in. Mm-hmm. So I do think this has legitimacy because his track record, but plus like February 18th is Black History Month, so February 18th, that could work for Black Panther 2. It'd be a no-brainer. May 6th, sure, that would start off the summer, Guardians of the Galaxy. July 29th, my prediction is another Spider-Man flick. So I think 2019? So 2 or 3 years we get a Spider-Man film, which is a good, bridge between every film. The mysterious one, I don't know. We do remember, let's not forget that Blade was announced, but the May 3rd or May 10th, would Blade be a right choice to be released before the summer? So this is 2024, May 3rd or May 10th.
Damn, I can't believe I'm thinking that far out.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's just like we're not even close. It's like it's 5 years from now. Keanu, what are your thoughts on these news? Like, what do you think the mysterious property is for May 3rd and May 10th, 2024? It can't be X-Men. Like, I don't know. For a summer release.
Fantastic Four.
You think so?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because it's because like you said, like X-Men is still a little bit too fresh, but Fantastic Four is right for the picking.
Mm-hmm. I think like honestly, by D23, we're gonna get a logo by X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Oh,
I
that'd
really
be dope,
think so.
Man.
I mean,
when is D23? It's just the next week.
Yeah, within the next 2 weeks. Look it up.
Ready. It is.
Yeah, I got so many tabs up, I can't even.
No, I got you.
Right now.
23rd August. Oh, it's 2 weeks from now. It's August 23rd and 25th.
Damn.
No. That is next week.
That is next week.
That's next Friday.
Pretty, yeah, that's crazy.
It's lit. They showed the Disney live action. They showed the Lady and the Tramp first look at the live action.
I never watched Lady and the Tramp, so I kind of I'm kind of uneducated on that, but I don't associate the May 3rd, May 10th date with Blade because I think Blade would be like maybe like somewhere in the fall,
Yeah,
late
absolutely. I
summer,
think the same.
late summer, like in August. Because like
Yeah,
for films, like August is like the scraps. You know what I mean?
yeah.
No offense to movies that are released in August, but like it's kind of the scraps because it's kind of a dead time. People are
End
going.
of the summer
Yep.
season.
People are going back to school. People are leaving for college. So a May opening. I honestly in my best hopes it would be X-Men because either or Fantastic Four or X-Men would be perfect. But I do think we're going to see their logos, and if this is the ideal situation, when they release the X-Men logo, it's going to be the '90s X-Men logo.
Yeah,
And I'd freak out because they should play the animated theme song when the Marvel Studios logo rolls out. Because you know how they played the Spider-Man theme, like
yeah.
in Far From Home. They could easily do that for X-Men in a perfect way. Like it wasn't cheesy.
Yeah, it was really good how they integrated it.
But what are your thoughts on Guardians and Black Panther? Because I think they seem legit.
Yeah, I mean that seems. I mean we know they're coming, and it would make sense that they would be as close to Phase 4 because it feels like we would have thought they would be a part of Phase 4. So it just makes sense that they would be like right after Phase 4 ends, like immediately, like right as to come out the door running with those two.
Yeah, it's so in addition to these rumors, I do want to tack on that the Doom movie is quote unquote dead.
Like we said it would be.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, no, well, Keanu was right. I was just trying to like, you never know, but I knew you were right. So this is according to the writer and director Noah Hawley, who's done Fargo, and what else did he do? He did Legion. So he pretty much said like he hasn't heard anything from Marvel, and it's pretty much dead in the water. But it's not entirely not impossible, but it's dead. Let's move on. But so this other rumor, this one's a big one. So a YouTube leaker claims to have lots of information in regards to the Marvel Studios' upcoming films, which include Phase 5, Annihilation, and Secret Wars. So, all right, I'm going to read all this off. I don't want to butcher it. So, the Lord of the Long Box YouTube channel offers that his sources know or are people within Marvel and DC that get insider information on the films. And instead of leaking the information, they go out and buy the comics first to get the jump on the selling and making a profit on them. The YouTuber also claims to have screenshots that show his scoops that have been stolen by other websites, including the Mandarin will be in Shang-Chi, no-brainer, we heard that, with other scoops, including that Namor will be the villain in Black Panther 2, which is a rumor. Interestingly enough, TVO also says his YouTube channel was shut down by Google without warning and having no strikes. So this information that he leaked was shut down, and this actually just dropped today. But I think it's really interesting to talk about. So regarding to the MCU leaks, this is the juicy stuff. Annihilation will happen between Marvel Phase 4 and 6. Secret Wars will be the huge event equivalent to Avengers Endgame. Similar to how Thanos was sprinkled throughout Marvel Phases 1 through 3 films, everything coming to lead up to Secret Wars. In between that, they will have Galactus and Annihilation War. So they're obviously talking about Secret Wars as in the 2015 comic. Let's see. So this is the tidbit about Secret Wars. Secret Wars will be the next Avengers Endgame. Regarding to this movie, TiVo offers the Earth is going to be divided into battle worlds, similar to the 2015 comic. Everything from Wakanda to Atlantis to Latveria, each in its own pocket universe. That's why this is more like the 2015 version. TiVo says, no, I'll also add, that's why Marvel Comics did the event, because of the MCU going in this direction and needing to incorporate and having a way to explain the Fox Studios characters coming into the MCU. It's going to be mapped out like a Lord of the Rings trilogy with a twist. So basically, Doctor Doom will take over Europe. Mandarin will control Asia. In the U.S., they're going to bring back the Red Skull to control America. TiVo reveals. U.S. agent is said to be an ex-Hydra agent that turns on Red Skull with Henry Cavill wanted for the role. I already know what you're going to say, what it sounds like what comic property. But I just want to go off the bullet points. So additional rumors for the upcoming Marvel movies include Dwayne Johnson as Namor, who knows, because we're already talking about the Asian casting. She-Hulk for Spider-Man 3. So if you saw Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker's going to need a lawyer. And they were thinking instead of Matt Murdock, they were going to get Jen Walters to be his lawyer. So possibly a She-Hulk, as in like her human form. Daredevil will get a reboot within the MCU and Hulu. Keanu Reeves is talking about Moon Knight and Adam Warlock and possibly the Silver Surfer. Other rumors such as Wesley Snipes in the Blade reboot as the villain. X-Men Fantastic Four coming to Phase 5, being announced at D23. Another rumor that Hercules will be in Thor Love and Thunder. And he shot down with this rumor. Galactus and Tyrant rumors are false. And he also added Venom 3 will be part of the MCU. And Deadpool for Avengers 5 and Black Widow. So that's a lot to take in.
It's Wild Wild West.
It's the Wild Wild West. But when I said the Mandarin takes China and, Wakanda takes a certain area, you think of old man Logan. So
yeah.
That's like I do want to. I'm repeating myself, but this is a rumor. If this is the plan, like the Endgame for like the next Endgame, I'm up for it. It's just really ambitious because if you're gonna have Doctor Doom,
it wasn't like a 16-hour movie. Like Endgame was 3.
That's what I'm saying. And plus, like they can't. I don't think they are gonna mess it up, but they cannot mess up Fantastic Four or Doctor Doom if they want.
Yeah,
this to
you
happen.
can't afford it. You can't afford it.
And like. This just dropped today, and like it's been spreading all over, and like people are posting on YouTube, and like this may be stupid, but like as much like it's just so much information to take in, and including Galactus in the mix. Like eventually, like throughout the his Guardian's going to introduce him. Like he should be his own Avengers film because we don't even know if we're going to get an Avengers film before this quote unquote next Endgame.
Boy, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just reread the leak, and he says it's worth a mention that the 2015 Secret Wars comic wasn't any good. It was good. That's a lie.
It was good.
Dope.
Yeah, no,
it was dope as hell. Really, it was epic.
Yeah, it was epic because it was like different universes, and
Hickman's an awesome writer.
Hickman's a good writer.
Like crazy. He writes crazy. He's doing X-Men now, and he does like.
Did you hear about X-Men?
Yeah, he does like epic.
McTaggart?
Yeah, he does epic lore defining stuff, and like like who's this guy? Like, get out of here with that.
Yeah, that's the part I didn't want to read. I was like, whatever, 2015 comic. But it's like the fact that he got his YouTube channel like shut down, and
he got it shut down because of that.
Yeah, and he did have like inside information for other stuff, but it's like Charles Murphy, the guy we mentioned, has more validity. But like to have the idea of Secret Wars, like we can bring back Tony Stark from a different universe, and we can have more than one Cap, or Miles Morales, like in Secret Wars, can like spoiler, like he can come into Earth Prime. Like it's there's so much potential. I just think I think they're gonna make it a little bit too ambitious. But like if it were to come true, Doctor Strange would be the lead off into the multiverse of madness. You know what I mean? But like I wanted to bring it into this week's episode because I wanted to bring it up to you because like you're more of the comic connoisseur, you know all your stuff. Like, what are your thoughts of hearing this potential rumor with the next phase 4 to 6?
I think it makes sense because like that's the only way you go bigger. Like that's the only way you keep people, not the only way, but like that's one way to keep people interested after the craziness of Endgame, after losing Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. You do something as big as Secret Wars. I don't really know I don't like the leak because it feels a little like when he says I'll also add that's why Marvel Comics did the event because the MCU is going in this direction. That's
a little too far.
That's
a reach.
That's a reach and a half. The film was the comic came out in 2015, and Hickman takes forever. Hickman planted the seeds for it years in advance, in like as early as 2013. And I know Kevin Feige plans this stuff out, but I highly doubt they wrote Endgame. They wrote Secret Wars in order to have that as a plot point for their 2025 movie. Come on, 12 years. I mean, I don't. That seems like a stretch and a half.
It's a stretch.
And Secret Wars felt like it was like Hickman being like, "Yo, let's make something crazy." Because at the end of the day, Secret Wars was kind of written as a Fantastic Four send off. Like he wrote like before he wrote Secret Wars, he was writing Fantastic Four, and that was right when they were like, "Okay, we don't own the rights, so we're gonna close up shop." And so he was like, "All right, fine, we're gonna close up shop. We're gonna do it in a really fun way, and we're gonna literally send off the Fantastic Four in style." So when he does stuff like that in the leak, I'm kind of like, oh, you're starting to sound a little fake
Iffy.
leaky. Like you're saying,
Yeah.
you sound like a Reddit post. Like,
Mhm.
and then he says like U.S. agent is said to be ex-Hydra agent that turns on Red Skull with Henry Cavill wanted for the role.
Right.
That seems like a stretch
That's
and a half.
that's a stretch. That's a
That
stretch.
seems like a super stretch. So I think Secret Wars being the next thing just makes sense. I think Annihilus being one of the next events makes sense. I think Galactus makes sense. So like it's kind of like he took like kind of no-brainer stuff and then like added in the fan leak types elements to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then like the more Marvel rumors is like that stuff just gets wild. Like Dwayne Johnson's name.
Yes, the Namor. That's what took me out. I was like,
even like She-Hulk for Spider-Man 3, like that just feels like.
Well, not She-Hulk, but her human counterpart.
Well, yeah, but even
as a
still,
tease.
it just feels like I don't know. It feels like Spider-Man. Each of the Spider-Man movies. It seems like they want to incorporate an established MCU character rather than introduce an MCU. And I don't know if it's because like I think it's a combination of Sony still owning the rights and them wanting to. The whole purpose of the deal is to bolster Spider-Man by including characters people already love.
Yeah.
So that just seems kind of.
Yeah.
Iffy. And if he isn't, I can see it being like an Easter egg. Like he gets a lawyer, and they're like, "Oh, you should reach out," Jennifer, whatever, Walters. But I don't see that happen. So I don't know. This is it's all interesting stuff. I can see the stuff, most of the stuff happening. But that's my take. That's my take on it.
Nah, and honestly, I like want to build off of that. Like honestly, like I said, I don't like putting rumors down. It's just I think this one is like since it's picking up heat, I think it's so interesting. Like if we just had the conversation about the potential of like this happening, like The Rock being Namor, that took me out. Henry Cavill, that took me out. Daredevil being rebooted, I don't know yet because it's ahead. Another interesting one was like Venom 3 will be part of the MCU, and they're saying Maximum Carnage would be the take of it. So it's like, I don't know. Some of the things, like you did state it right. Like, oh, he did state the obvious. Like that's like could potentially likely happen. So like for Phase 5, you think like Galactus would be that Marvel movie, and then Secret Wars would be Phase 6? Because I think Galactus would need a proper build up. I think maybe you could do it with Guardians, obviously. But I feel like it should be at least like a 2-phase thing to go up to Galactus,
Well, I could see like
short.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would see it being. I mean, I could see it being 5, and I could see it being like Fantastic Four is the first part of 5, and it has obviously Doom, but it also has Galactus in the background, and then they have an Avengers film, and that one. Like an Avengers Fantastic Four film, and that happens at the end of 5, and that has Galactus as a big bad.
I just realized we don't even know if Doctor Strange's movie going to be like Avengers 4.5. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like,
that's true because they already have Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, so like if we're talking about multiverses, like we not to just backtrack, but like I just thought of that. I'm like, we don't know what's going to be an Avengers 0.5 movie, like even Doctor Strange. I mean, any final thoughts on these rumors? I think it's interesting. I think it was worth talking about because, like, what if it, who knows, it can get shot down, blah, blah, blah. But I think it would be so interesting because you got to be ambitious to top Endgame. You're going to have to do some crazy stuff. But it does sound like Old Man Logan, according to this report. But I don't know. Any final thoughts, man?
Well, I mean, the Battle Worlds were all like they were all miniseries. So like, it's an interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that. It's a very interesting rumor, and it's honestly so much that like until any bit of it is confirmed, I'm just gonna take it like as is, and it's all interesting. It's all cool, but it's such a in-depth leak, and it's such a big thing that it's like
so big. Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, okay, all right. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see. Excuse me. We'll see what happens.
Yep. So we're gonna go into bonus round. We're just gonna rapid fire this. So speaking of Venom, Venom 3, we're gonna go back to Venom 2. So Michelle Williams is coming. Venom. I forgot that. Michelle Williams is coming back for Venom 2. The next bit after that, Amanda Seyfried. So pretty much, she was getting interviewed for another film or TV property, and she never said the name, but this is her quote. She said, "I turned down a superhero movie once, and they haven't called back since." Seyfried told MTV in the video embedded above, and it was a big one. "I don't regret it because I didn't want to be green for 6 months out of every year. They tell beautiful stories through superheroes, and my daughter's now really obsessed with superheroes now, and part of me wishes I'd done it. But the other part of me is like, I had a life to live, and I don't think I would have been happy." So green skin, Marvel property. So you're telling me she could have been Gamora, which is a cool, fun fact. But she never said Gamora yet again.
Maybe she's Mantis. Oh no, Mantis
Yeah,
stop. But they didn't paint her. I forgot they didn't paint her, so I guess never mind. Because she's green in the comics, but they not in the movie.
We need to keep Mantis Asian. That's all I gotta say. But I mean, that's like a fun fact to know that potentially Zoe Saldana's my Gamora. Like I kind of can't see.
I'm super good with that casting. Like I love Zoe. She's awesome.
The thing about Amanda is she has like a baby face, like a cute face. Like she looks.
That's why she would have been Mantis.
Exactly. Yeah, she would have been Mantis perfectly. But I'm cool with Palm as Mantis too, even though Mantis really doesn't have a big role. So another bit, Tarantino's last film. Tarantino, make up your damn mind. So this bit is saying, is Star Trek is his next film, or is it going to be Kill Bill? But he did say, he kind of got quoted saying he wants his last film to be epilogue. So I'm kind of leaning towards Kill Bill. But he does say that horror isn't out of the question as long as it's an original story. So that's likely a no. But this is the quote from Tarantino. He says, "I guess I do have a loophole if the idea was to throw a loophole into it." So he's talking about Star Trek because he thinks Star Trek could be a loophole and then he can do his 10th film. He says for his 10th film, which would be his go-to, I guess Star Trek doesn't count. I can do Star Trek, but naturally I would end on an original. But the idea of doing 10 isn't to come up with a loophole. I actually think if I was going to do Star Trek, I should commit to it. It's my last movie. There should be nothing left-handed about it. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but that might happen. So Star Trek might be a loophole. It might not be. This is the thing. Is like we talked about Django and Zorro. So it's like
I thought that would have been a cool note to end on.
That would have been cool. Like I'm 50-50 because I do want Kill Bill but Kill Bill's already done. That story's done, in my opinion. There's no story I think that could really flesh it out more. What do you think about Tarantino saying this? I'm kind of just like, it's kind of like the Snyder cut. I'm kind of like, yo.
Yeah, like you're gonna get to do 10. You keep saying that. Okay, make your 10th film. We'll see what it is. Yeah. It's gonna be a super long film with a lot of like extended takes and cutaways to scenes that don't have any plot relevance. But
he straight up being a clout chaser. That's what he's being, and he's just trying to hype it up that he's I'm gonna retire, blah blah blah. Just get it done, man. You're not an athlete. You don't have to retire. You can make film. Stop hyping it up. So next bit, Rocko's Modern Life. So Rocko's Modern Life.
That's my jam.
The Static Cling is now streaming on Netflix for you guys. So Keanu, you saw it, right?
Darn shooting.
And one of my other friends, Dan, saw it. And let's remember that this week, Invader Zim is coming out.
I can't wait.
So this Friday on the 16th. Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus. I can't wait for that. So
man, I just got that day off, so I'm gonna watch this.
You actually took off?
No, I literally, my boss was like, "Yo, you've been like working real awesome, so like, you want a day off?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it."
I was about to say, I'm like, dude, don't do it.
No, I would not for that. I mean, but it is cool that I'm off because now I can watch this as it comes out.
Yeah, it's great that
happy coincidence.
It's funny because like we're talking about Netflix being broke, and it's like now they got some good properties coming to bring on the nostalgia. Rocko's Modern Life, such a 90s, early 2000s thing.
Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life. That's like a classic intro.
Classic show. And I hope, I don't know what, see, Netflix never releases their their statistics about whether it's a success or not. And I hope Rocko's Modern Life, The Static Cling, and Invader Zim Enter the Florpist become successes, so they can bring like Angry Beavers or Ren and Stimpy, or what's the show with the monsters? I forget the name.
Real Monsters.
Yes. If they brought like an original movie for that, that'd be great. But like you saw Rocko's Modern Life, The Static Cling. What'd you think about it?
I loved it. It was fun. It was neat. I mean, it was definitely, it was a cartoon. So, but it was more of what, of the original Rocko. And it was a reboot in the right way, because it was, very much animated, the same voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
It felt, the storyline felt very similar. I had fun with it. It was fun. It was 40 minutes. It was super quick. It was just I don't know that it was worth like the 3-4 year wait, but it definitely, I love the 90s properties. I'm a 90s kid, so I'm going to eat it all up, and it was a fun film. And I would love for them to make something more Rocko in some way or another, whether it's another cartoon season or another episode or another special. But it was fun. It was very much a good cartoon reboot. It was a good. It also just felt like it's the same way I felt about Deadwood. Like, it very much felt like the conclusion of the show that was meant to happen years ago.
Mm-hmm. And that's good. Yeah, at least it's coming back in the modern day, which is kind of cool. Especially for the '90s kids like us. Like, we're all in our 20s now, but I'm glad like seeing old properties, especially Invader Zim. I feel like it had like a cult following.
It definitely, definitely.
You know what I mean? It's like it wasn't like a top show, but like it was so weird and like disturbing in some ways. You know what I mean with the animation?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was definitely
weird.
disturbing.
It's just weird, but I'm glad Nickelodeon provided it. So if we're gonna move on from that, I'm gonna see Invader Zim. We're all gonna see Invader Zim, especially Keanu's off. Lion King is passing Frozen 2 as the highest grossing quote unquote animated film of all time. So
it technically is animated, I guess.
Yeah, people want to say live action, but it's technically animated, so there's nothing real about it. So through Saturday night, the Beyonce and Donald Glover starring hit grossed over 1.33 billion worldwide. So that's 473 domestically. So note that to international numbers. So this honor was previously held by Frozen, which finished its run with 1.28 billion and 400.73 stateside. So, I get, this article that wrote it, I'm like, I guess you can count it as animated, but that's more bank for Disney, Money. So all moolah. So if we're going to build off Disney, Aladdin 2 is going to get a sequel. Well, it's in talks to get a sequel, but they were people that worked on the film were asked, what adaptation are you going to do? They pretty much said, like, for now we're considering a sequel, and we just wanted to make a good first movie, but now, like, since the audience loves it, maybe not on Rotten Tomatoes, but like according to the money, they want to, if they're gonna do a sequel, they want to take plot points from different sources so they can make a new original story. So that's pretty cool to think about. Did you see Aladdin? I still haven't seen it.
Nah, I didn't. But I after this news came out, I read the plot synopsis, and it's just like it's a straight like remake of the cartoon. It's straight. If you saw the original cartoon, like, of course you saw the original cartoon. It's a remake. That's what it is.
Oh, for Lion King, right?
No, for Aladdin.
Oh, Aladdin. Okay, yeah.
It's like,
really?
I was reading it. Yeah, it's pretty much a straight adaptation. Like, all they did was add that handmaiden. That they just added
that one song.
And they added Jasmine's friend, her handmaiden. Like that, they added her as a character, but she didn't. She literally just as like a second Raja, where she's just like there. But I'll tell you what though, if what they should do is just combine the second and third movie. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They just want to take tidbits, but I've never seen the second and third. So you think like if you combine them and made them into one movie, it'd work out?
Yeah, because first, well, I don't know if I'm biased, but like I always thought Jafar as a genie was like so cool. Like I just thought like the blue genie versus the red genie. I don't know. I just thought it was so cool. But The second one is straight up just Jafar as a genie coming back because someone finds his lamp, and then he's like, "All right, well, let's go, let's do this thing." And then the third one is where the third one is actually really like the third one is most people say the third one's better than the second one. It's about Aladdin finding his father, and his father is actually the Prince of Thieves, and then like he has like a whole like cabal of like villainous pirates, and they like go to find like a golden island, and like just a bunch of epic stuff happens, and so. I think it would be smart to like combine those together and have the second one be like they find like Aladdin's father's found and he finds Jafar's lamp and he rubs it and like that sets off like this journey to stop Jafar and like on it Aladdin journeys with this guy not knowing he's his dad and like it has his like pirate crew and they like go to the Golden Island to find Jafar's lamp and I think that'd be a baller movie if you just combine the two if you just combine the second and third one together.
Yeah, if it needs to happen and you feel it's like it should happen, why not? Because honestly, this would be the first live action sequel. Honestly, if they pulled this off, it'd be interesting to see how it goes down. But like the fact that they want to pull from different properties and not just one, not just like the Aladdin 2, it's interesting to think about. So if we move on, Quiet Place 2, this is from the Wrap via Deadline. You know, John Krasinski's already started production for Quiet Place 2, and Brian Tyree Henry dropped out.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So, well, he's kind of busy. So
he's very busy.
They got Djimon Honsou from, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that's fine. I like him.
Captain Marvel, Shazam, Aquaman. Yeah, he's a great actor, and pretty much it's a big role. But, you know, if you think about Brian Tyree Henry, he's doing Atlanta. The new seasons, seat 3 and 4, are being filmed back to back, and his schedule's just busy. And if he really couldn't do Quiet Place 2, but like he's also doing Eternals, you know, a small movie called The Eternals, you know, by Marvel. So he's gonna be a busy guy. He's gonna be busy with filming. He's gonna be busy with press. It's like, whatever. Let's get Djimon Honsou and like more roles, you know, because I feel like he's been around since like Blood Diamond and like all these other films.
Yeah, he's been
like,
around for a while.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute, but like
he put in his time.
He did. He deserves this, especially with, you know, Quiet Place 2. That was a hit. So especially with the budget, it's like, why not? So moving on, Coming to America 2 cast Wesley Snipes. That's
I don't
like
mean to sound racist, but I honestly I thought he was in the first one. I
I know who you're talking about.
I haven't seen it in a while, and like I just felt like he was because it's like, you know, it's like an '80s comedy. I don't know. Like I felt like if Wesley Snipes was like every '80s movie. Like I don't know.
No, I knew
in the most non-racist way I could say it. I just for some reason thought he was.
I think I know what character you're talking about. His assistant. Like he kind of looks like Wesley Snipes. Fuck, I forget. But he's casted in Coming to America 2, and he's pretty much a leader of another country, which is near Eddie Murphy's country. Yeah. So that's kind of like a fun fact to know. So this one's more a little bit political. The Hunt, which is being released by Universal and Blumhouse, it was supposed to release in September 27. And, you know, the movie's about rich people hunting lower class people. So it's kind of like a dark spin on that. Kind of like...
it was like The Most Dangerous Game. Like that story.
Yeah.
That short story.
It's like that. So, but it's obviously Blumhouse. It's like a thriller horror thing. And Universal wanted to drop the release date because, you know, all these shootings have been happening, you know, El Paso. It's a lot. And I think it's the smart move for them to do it because they never said it's never going to come out. They might release it in a couple months when, you know, people have a lot of, you know, the shootings off their minds. They can even put it in.
Not, you know, and I don't mean, I'm not honestly not saying this as a joke. Like,
yeah.
Knock on wood, you know, let's pray that there's just not another shooting that call. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It seems like we're in this really, like, not to get political, but we're in a really weird, messed up state right now, and it seems like shootings happen a lot. So,
not wrong.
It could just be delayed to be determined, or indefinitely canceled or whatever. Just because, like, you know, let's pray that there's not another shooting, man. You know, like let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's the appropriate move, but if we had to talk in retrospect, this isn't the only movie that's been pulled off of its release schedule. So another film, The Interview with Seth Rogen and James Franco, they got pulled off theaters and put it straight onto Netflix on Christmas. I remember that. And that was due to, you know, threats by North Korea saying, like, if it was in theaters, like, we're going to have an attack. But I think this move by Universal is a smart one. Keanu, I know we delved into it, but like the fact that it's getting possibly, you know, maybe put on streaming service or delayed for a couple months. You do agree this is the right move?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I just feel like I don't know where I stand on it, just because I feel like it's one of those things where like where do we define what we how do I say this? Like, where do we define how do we define what we release, what we don't release, what we
Mhm.
just what we let affect other things.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's definitely like a troubling time, and it's definitely like a and I guess it is I guess no matter what, it is a good move, because I mean, I guess you give it more, just give more time, um and just yeah, I guess yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of know what you're talking about. Like, okay, so this is the thing I want to bring up. Like, does video games make terrorists?
I mean, they
Like,
don't, so
does
that
our
doesn't.
it doesn't. So like, does our films really strongly influence people's thoughts? That's the thing you have to question. Like, does politics? Why does politics have to dictate like movie releases? Like, that's the thing I like question sometimes. I'm like, maybe in like the back of my mind, but like I can understand why they're doing this, and maybe it's a little too fresh for it to be released because it's coming September 27th.
And then at the same
Um,
time, it's like, okay, like if you're doing it out of respect for the family, that's one thing, but they're doing it because it's like, oh, okay, well, no one's gonna watch it because they're, you know what I'm saying? Like you're
yeah,
not doing it
absolutely.
for the like, if you are doing it for that reason, then good on you, and like, yeah, that's a good move.
Hmm.
But like, you're realistically doing it because you're like, okay, well, this isn't gonna make us money because no one's gonna want to watch it right after a shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
Yeah. And dude, this is also like a clout thing right now because it's getting a lot of attention. It's been mentioned on like other podcasts and other movie channels I watch on YouTube, like their thoughts on it. But I think it's the right. I think it's a respectful right move. But like you always have to question like, is this like how much does the media or like film influence like our reality, or like even like Trump said video games creates killers or terrorists, and like I completely not in agreement with that. But maybe it's a little too early for like a film like this to be released because it's talking about people in wealth hunting poor people and shooting them for game. So last bit of the night for bonus round, we kind of want to talk about scary stories to tell in the dark, a little quick review. But before we get into it, so Guillermo del Toro was interviewed by comicbook.com, and they wanted to talk about Justice League Dark. And he actually he said this on quote, well, I co-wrote the whole screenplay on Justice League Dark for Warner Bros. So that's your answer. He says, I love Deadman, I love Demon, I love Swamp Thing, Zatanna. He also added that, but I'm not a superhero guy. For me to like a superhero, the superhero needs to be a monster. I'm not into those things. I've never been. I'm always a favor of the monster narratives. That's what I like. Or I love noir, I love police, crime dramas, I love science fiction. So Keanu, what are your thoughts on that? I would love a Justice League Dark after
yeah.
playing.
I'm pissed that it didn't happen. I'm pissed that just like everything else, it kind of like got announced and then nothing happened. And I think, like, I mean, what he said is correct. Like, he's always been about monsters, and like this would have been a way to make that happen with superheroes. Like, it would have Justice League Dark is about the characters he listed, and they're we saw like I loved Swamp Thing, and the show was like a body horror with like crazy stuff going on, and it's a waste, and it's a shame. Like, I could see him making this film and it being awesome, and
It would be awesome.
it's kind of bullshit that we got robbed of it.
It's right up his alley too, because I just watched Justice League Dark on Hulu, the animated movie.
Yeah,
If they made it like that, and Guardians like made it like Guardians, where you don't, everyone's just in one movie, and as long as it's written well, it could work. And I love paranormal stuff like that. I love John Constantine. Like, it's a shame, but he did produce Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and we saw it this past Thursday. Yeah, Thursday
Yeah.
we saw it, and this is like I like to say, and this is non spoilers. Like, we won't get into spoilers. So, I think it's the scariest kids movie there is. I think
yeah, I agree.
I think it's So when you go into this, remember it's based on a kid's book, and I think they really pushed the boundaries for PG-13. It's just I don't want people to compare it to The Conjuring. Because
Right,
it's kind of
right.
different. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
I think you're in
absolutely.
agreement.
Absolutely.
But like, Keanu, what do you think? What are your thoughts on like what I'm about to say? Like, I think this movie itself is a good transition into horror genre for kids.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's exactly that.
And like when I think about the movie, I gave it like an 8 out of 10. Right after we watched it, and I was thinking if I was going to change my score, but I couldn't change it because like it's a kid's book.
Right.
As much as it, the thing I was confused was like, who are they targeting? Are they targeting us, the readers? Because this book came in like the 90s or 80s, in the 80s, and this was in elementary schools, and like this was pretty much the Mortal Kombat of literature at the time.
Yeah,
they were literally like. They were literally like, this is too violent, this is too scary, and the images were haunting. So,
oh my gosh, these images are that definition of haunting.
Yeah, it was literally haunting, these images for the book. And I think this is the best, this is the scariest kids movie, and that's the best way to sum it up. And I think it's a good transition for kids into horror. Keanu, what are your thoughts on it? Because I'm going to stick with an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably give it like a 7.5.
Yeah, that's reasonable. It really is. Because the reason why I didn't drop it, because dude, the cinematography was so good.
Yeah, it was so. And dude, like they did a really good job translating the book is known for the images. The book is known for those drawings. That's what it's known for. And I mean, don't get me wrong. The stories are scary, but I mean, when you smash those stories with those pictures, dog, like that is terrifying. And like, yo, they did a crazy job matching the illustrations. Like, and it's not really a spoiler because it's in the commercials. Like the Red Room monster, the big fat one.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Dude, that scares me. Like thinking about it, that thing was. I could see like. I can see it giving me. It's first of all, it's like a direct. It's just like a direct. If you look at them side by side, the picture from the book with the movie, it's uncanny. Like they did a perfect job of making it 3D, and like I see that image scaring me the same way that image scared me from the book. Like I can see myself. I can see myself as a grown ass adult going to bed and like being like, nah, I'm not gonna look at the hallway because that shit was. So and the child actors were really strong too. They weren't annoying. Like they were pretty well fleshed out. I mean, not well fleshed out, but they were pretty. They weren't annoying. they were good. They were good actors. And they carried the film. And like I mean, the movie did a fantastic job of doing what the book did, which was like this is creepy as shit. This is pretty damn like. Yeah. Scary, but like at the same time, like it's not over the top Conjuring or something. It's not like over the top gore. Like it was if in that regard it was a faithful adaptation of the book, which is what anybody could have gone into the movie really wanting. Especially knowing that the book is the scariest book targeted towards kids, targeted towards middle school. And like you said, you're like, who exactly was the audience? And I definitely think that it's like
both.
I think both. I think first and foremost, it's probably fans of the book. Yeah. Because I think fans of the book it came out in the 90s. So like the fans of the I'm sorry, it came out in the 80s, but like 90s kids grew up on it. So we're adults now. We can afford to buy our tickets. So like that's gonna make up a big chunk of the people watching. And at the same time, like. There's people, there's adults who are like, oh, I like horror, I like scary, but like I don't like too scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I like scary, but I don't like Saw, I don't like gore. So there's definitely like a soft audience that's not necessarily that aren't necessarily fan of the book that are like about seeing this movie. And then that just leaves kids, and it's like a question of like, are we gonna like our parents let us read the book? My mom read me the book. Like, damn. I grew up on that. Yeah, like I grew up on horror, man. Like that's my bread and butter. And like the question is like, are parents nowadays gonna do? Is this gonna be the same way the book was for meant to be for kids our age, for their age now? Is this movie gonna be able to do that for kids or middle schoolers? And we'll see how that goes, but. I enjoyed the film. Cinematography was beautiful. Good acting. Just practical effects were fantastic. There wasn't over the top CGI or anything. Yeah. I mean, dude, those monster designs, like they were spot on. Those things were creepy as hell, and they were straight up from the book.
Yeah, no, they were, and it's funny because the Jangly Man was actually a contortionist, which I found out. So like a lot of it was actually physical props, which was really cool to hear, and I think we should like really own up to that in film
because props for that, definitely.
Yeah, because like the '80s, like The Thing, like that was all physical props, and it still holds up. And the fact that the cinematography is beautiful, like it had Guillermo like stamped all over it, even though he was a producer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the director himself is good. He did The Body of Jane Doe, and I'm kind of forgetting some properties, but he has a good track record. And the reason why I say it's a good transition for kids to come into horror, because let's think of other PG-13 properties. Like I'm thinking the Conjuring series. Conjuring's intense. Like you can tell that was for adults.
Yeah.
This was like Goosebumps, but a little bumped up. You know, the
it was
Goosebumps movie.
Like Goosebumps on steroids.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. It was Goosebumps on steroids. But I give my hats off to the movie because I didn't want to drop the rating because one, cinematography, the acting was really good. They looked like teenagers, like actual teenagers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it didn't take me out of the movie. They looked like legit teenagers and they acted like them. But yeah, it's a good transition film. I don't want to drop my score down because, like, for what it did, let's remember, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, it's all short stories, so they're kind of like an anthology. So what it did was, you know, it took kind of like the lore of Goosebumps. This is in the trailers too, like it'll give it away, like the book does whatever. But yeah, it's good like how they mixed it up, and you know, they did straight up, you know, elements from Harold, like that story, the Scarecrow. They combined some elements for some monsters, so it's like it was really good. I would like to stay with an 8 out of 10, and I encourage you guys to watch it because it's perfect. Because I think it's the perfect release date. Because one, it's released in August, so when it goes to DVD and Blu-ray and streaming, it might be Halloween. So this is a good binge movie to watch like in October, around that area, because I think it'll be out pretty soon. Because I think movies nowadays are like getting pushed out of the theaters and right to Blu-ray and like streaming. So if you guys like, if seriously, the people that made this, you should like have this out in time for Halloween on streaming.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it would be a success there, and it would just build off of it. Because we can get a sequel. There's potentially there could be a sequel for this. It's called More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yep.
So I'm gonna end this episode. I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. Keanu, you're sticking with the 7.5.
I'm gonna give them a 7.8 just because the child actors were like teenagers. So I'm gonna give them that. They get credit for getting some actual kids.
Like they were good actors
who weren't annoying. They weren't annoying.
Who weren't annoying. Like they were okay. Listen, they were good actors, but I do feel like the main character was not written as well. But that's not the actress's fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. I agree.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna give them an applause because for what they did with it, it's fun. Like guys, if you're listening, I think you guys should like. It's a good popcorn movie. It's a good date movie. It's fun. It's not too much. So if you're worried about this is gonna be like terrifying, no, you can handle it. It's a good time. But
I mean, that being said, man, that Red Room monster, dude.
That's all you. That's your opinion. The last one scared me. That's all I gotta say.
Dude, the Red Room. She was so it's so creepy. Just thinking about it.
What did I say? He could have juked her and broke her ankles. That's all I gotta say.
But she's so Like for me, she's so terrifying that I could see him being like, I'm
done. Yeah, like we're not gonna get into spoilers, but yeah, I'm getting chills thinking about it, but like that's how you know the movie works, you know?
Yep.
So,
yep.
Guys, thank you again for tuning in for the Mashup Movie Talk. I'm your host, Aaron, joined by Keanu, your other host, and episodes every Wednesday. So that's the new thing. Life Talk when it comes back in the fall. So because I just got to plan up some new guests. It's gonna drop Wednesday. So Wednesday is gonna be Life Talk and Movie Talk. So you're gonna get two things. If movies aren't your thing, it's not your demographic. Hey, that's fine. You got Life Talk. You can hear people's stories. But let's just remember that we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. And most importantly, we're on YouTube. But be sure to like our Facebook page, subscribe to their YouTube page. And, just like any support you can give us is great. Always rate us on Apple Podcasts. It means a lot. And I do love the feedback from you guys. And we love doing this, and it's fun. We just ranted for an hour and 23 minutes. kind of just flew by from Phase 5 rumors to scary stories to tell in the dark. But thank you guys. We'll see you next week.